So this is the first tutorial for the GAD 101, and what we're going to do here is we're going to create a character in ZBrush, a simple muddy character, bring him into Maya, and from there we're going to animate him and then bring it into the Unity game engine and hook up all the scripts. So this is kind of going to be just a basic accelerated how to use ZBrush. My interface might look a little different than yours. This is sort of the default one. What I normally do is I go to Document and I turn on Double, and that doubles up my window side. So do that first. The next thing I want to do is click on Simple Brush here, go to Z-Sphere, and then what I'm doing is I'm left clicking and just dragging out a Z-Sphere. And now in order to edit this, you have to click on Edit up here or press T. And that'll allow us to edit our Z-Sphere. Now the way I'm able to rotate around is I'm just clicking out here away from my Z-Sphere. If I want to pan, I have to press the Alt key first and then click off to the side, and it allows me to pan around. If I want to zoom, I leave my mouse, I leave the left click on, and I just remove the Alt key, and it allows me to zoom in and out. So again, Alt and down is to pan. If you release the Alt key but continue to click, it lets you zoom. So let's go ahead and snap to our front view. So if you hold Shift and you click off to the side, it'll snap your sphere. So as you're moving, if you hold Shift, it'll snap. Let's take a look at creating a simple character out of this Z-sphere. I'm going to hit the X key, and what you'll notice is it creates two of these little dots. This is symmetry mode. What I want to do here is I'm just going to simply drag out two big circles on the side here. Now if I hit A, it'll turn it into geometry. Okay? So what I want to do at this point is just sort of practice moving around. I'm just going to go ahead and sort of start to create this sort of character. So what I'd like to do is bring this sphere here into place for the elbow. So what I can do is click and drag out. If I wanted to remove the Z-sphere, I hold Alt and click. So again, let's drag this out. I can go up to Move or hit W. Click on that side one and bring it down. I'm going to move it slightly off to the side, and then I'm going to bring his elbows back. Down here in the center, I'm going to move this so they're over each other. I'm going to hit Q to go back into draw mode, and see how I'm kind of moving this around? I'm going to wait till they snap together, and I'm going to draw out another sphere. Go back to my front. Oops, looks like I deleted that. Hit W, pull this down. Let's drag out one more. So I'm going to hit Q. Bring these guys down by hitting W or selecting my move and just pulling these guys straight down. Now this is going to take some getting used to. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to create a pelvis area for my character. I'm going to hit Q to go back into draw mode. Go off to the sides here. Draw out two hips. I want to pull those hips back, so I'm going to hit W, pull this back, and then pull this center pivot back. If we hit A at this point, we can take a look at how our mesh is ending up, and it's looking pretty good. And what we can do is, if I hit W and I sort of pull these out more to the sides, and I hit A, you can kind of see the way that works. If I don't like the placement of these shoulders, I can hold Alt and click and delete. And we want to make sure that we're in draw mode to do that, so that's Q. Now notice that there's a problem here. That shoulder area is missing. Well, what I can do is, if I'm in draw mode, is I can click here, or I can click back on that point, and it'll add another joint. Or another Z-sphere. Let's hit A again to release that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and redraw out these arms. Just to sort of show you that method, hit A. You can see we have that there. I'm going to draw it again here. I'm hitting the W key, or I can click move here, pull this down, pull those elbows back, hit Q, so it goes back into edit mode. Hit W, move these down. And we're building like this kind of big monster here. So let's kind of pull all of this out. He's sort of a hulking monster that we're going to bring into Unity. And again, I'm just hitting A to kind of go back and forth. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Just try to, at the end, I'm going to pause the positioning of this. And you can actually pause the video yourself. I'm going to move this forward. Hit Q. Draw out some feet. And the interface itself takes some getting accustomed to. Alright, let's draw out the actual foot area. So I'm going to draw a sphere out here. So really take your time doing this. Alright, let's give our lumbering monster a head. I'm going to draw out his head from the front here. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit. You can think of this guy almost like an orc or something. Let's pull this a little bit away from his neck. Let's give him a chin. Alright, I'm actually going to move this up and back a little bit more. And again, it's as big as you want your monster to be. Alright, so here's my monster. Alright. So once you're happy with him, what we can do is we can actually make him a mesh that we can sculpt on. So let's go to Make Polymesh 3D. And what that'll allow us to do is that'll actually give us this big lumbering guy to sculpt on once you click that. So make sure that you're in draw mode by hitting Q. And then let's hit X. And you'll see here that now we can kind of move and sculpt around this surface. So how exactly do we sculpt? Well, if you click here on your brushes, there's all these brushes in here. We're going to go over them one by one. But I'm going to start with my standard brush, which is it's set by default. And I want to increase the size of my brush. So if you hold the S key down, you can increase the draw size of your brush. And you can see here that it is moving it just a little bit. See that? If we really want to make a significant difference, like kind of sculpt a big brooding monster, we're going to need more geometries or more subdivision. So under this tab on the side here, Geometry, go ahead and click Divide a couple times. You could see that gave us a little bit more mesh. So let's start off by giving our monster a little bit more of an impressive silhouette. So I'm going to go to Standard. I'm going to hit M, and that's going to give me all of my move brushes. So let's start with Move Topological. And holding S, I'm going to increase my brush size. And I'm just going to sort of drag out the lats of my character. I'm going to drag out some shoulders. Maybe my character, his neck is sort of just kind of goes right from his back. Let's pull this out a little bit more. Alright, something like that. I'm going to pull his thighs in a little bit out to the side here. Let's make his feet a lot more menacing here. And again, I have no plan. I'm not working off any concept art. This is really just us having fun. Alright, I'm going to hold S, bring my brush down a little bit, move this all up. We're not trying to build a perfect character here. We're trying to learn ZBrush, and again, we're just having fun. Later, we'll go over how to copy or mimic concept art. All right, let's pull his thighs out. All right, so let's take a look at creating some. Let's go and look at how we can kind of sculpt out some muscles and stuff. Or we'll start with his face. So I'm going to go ahead and divide it one more time. Or you can also hit Control D. And I'm going to play with another brush. I'm going to hit C, and I'm going to grab clay buildup. And what we can do is, we're just going to just kind of draw in whatever we want, just some basic eyebrows, maybe a nose. And I'm just clicking and dragging here. Now say I want to give my character some like some holes for where his eyes are. I'll hold Alt in. I'm just kind of pushing that in. Okay, he doesn't look very menacing here, but we could always change it later. I can kind of draw in some ears at this point. Give him a little bit more shape to his jaw. Let's also look at maybe starting to give him some anatomy. So let's sculpt out some shoulders here. And all I'm doing is kind of using my clay buildup. I'm not looking at any real anatomy reference here. I'm holding Alt at this point to draw this out. Giving him some forearms. Draw out some triceps here. Give him a little elbow. You know, and let's say we want to really shape this out. So I'll click here, hit M, and grab my Move Topological. Now, if this gets kind of cumbersome, all the clicking back and forth here, there's another interface that ZBrush has preset, and I'll show you how to access that in a second as we're kind of editing this guy. Kind of give this guy a little bit more space here. Bring his forearms in. Again, we're just shaping it, kind of having fun with this. If you click here, you can actually switch between interfaces. So if you click back once, you can see that it loads the most used brushes down at the bottom here, which is kind of a nice feature. Alright, so let's go ahead and again, with our clay buildup, let's give this guy like a really muscular chest here. I'm going to select clay there, grab buildup, and again, I'm just sort of drawing this out. Maybe I'll draw him some abs, and maybe he's got a belt on, so let's give him a belt. Alright, let's give him some cuffs, go around his leg here. I'm going to hold Alt and kind of push that in, give him a little bit of a knee. Alright. I'm going to kind of sculpt in a little bit of a clavicle here. Neck muscles. Alright. Alright, so here is our really hideous, super fast monster. This is sort of the basic interface stuff. Alright, so in the next video, we're going to take a look at painting this guy and unwrapping him.